Hey guys and gals, this is Nick of the Broken Legion of Gamers, and I'm coming to you with another video showcasing some of the models from the new Kickstarter campaign from 3D Breed called March to Hell World War II Europe in Flames. And before we get into the video, guys, as today is the 77th anniversary of D-Day, let's take a little bit of time today and kind of find some way to celebrate and remember the troops that braved those beaches of Normandy, and some of those brave men unfortunately lost their lives on those beaches away from home. So let's take some time for that. Now, let's move on to the video. Any of you that followed the first March to Hell campaign, you'd probably realize that those are the Sherman tanks from the first campaign. They're actually here so we can compare them because 3D Breed actually made some changes to the Sherman tank for the new campaign, so we're going to go over those right now. Let's get the 15mm Sherman out of the way, and let's get the new 28mm Sherman, which both of these are usable, but you might notice that the Sherman from the new campaign, that's the welded body, not the cast body that they used in some of the earlier ones. And they also that's not the only change. They made some slight tweaks to the turret. With the previous campaign, the hatch was integrated on the turret, as you can see. There's a hole, and you print out a separate hatch. This is kind of a nice way to future-proof the hatches. This way they don't have to design a new hatch just to give commanders or something. And that's rather lovely, but the changes don't start there. We're going to move away from the hatch now, the turret now, so we'll get these turrets out of the way. And these actually aren't glued in. Here's the tracks from the original campaign. As you can see, they're solid. And I printed them in FDM. The reason why these aren't glued is because I'm printing replacement tracks in resin, because due to this campaign, I learned how to do that. Oh, and you're going to notice the treads, though good, are very basic. Here's the new treads. As you're going to see, there's gaps down here along the bottom. The tread design has more detail. They knocked out of the park with these new treads. The only thing is, these new treads, they won't fit on the old tanks. The 3D Breed's treads fit on with a lock and key style system. Here's the lock and key style system for the old tanks. On the new tanks, unfortunately, I glued them onto both the 15mm and the 28mm, but these holes and the holes in these keys right here are relatively smaller on the new tanks. So you unfortunately can't just swap the tank treads and have the better treads on the older tank. It's the only downfall to that. And one reason why these are glued on, here's a little pro tip. Before you cure them, glue on the treads, because in the curing process, these start to swell and get bigger, and these start to swell and the hole gets smaller, and you start, as you can see with that key right there, that was cut off to make it that the tank tread will fit. So if you can, unless you're planning on painting the tank treads off of the tank, if you can, just sit there and glue the tank treads on and then cure it. It'll make your life a lot easier. Now, let's move on to the 15mm tanks. And there's a reason why we're comparing both the 15s, why both the 15s are here, and because in a second you'll see. Old tank treads, solid. all the changes are the same between the, what the heck is that? Prize support. All the changes are the same between the two tanks, and just like the 28 millimeters, the hatches print separately from the turrets. Actually, after curing, this hatch is a little bit easier to get on the 28 millimeter hatch. I just got to glue that on. But they also, for both tanks, they actually did something pretty awesome. The last Kickstarter campaign, they only did the 75 millimeter turret, which I believe is this turret right here, and they elongated the barrel a little bit on the 78 millimeter turrets, just by the slightest. But in this campaign, they also added a, or is this the, no, they elongated both turrets. In this campaign, they also printed out a 105 millimeter turret. We're going to get the old tank out of the way. Actually, no, we'll leave it there. Because now we're bringing on, for size comparison's sake, we're going to bring on 2 of the Flames of War tanks. Now, these Flames of War tanks, you're going to notice one of the turrets is the 105 millimeter turret, this one right here. And another one is the 75 millimeter turret. I only have, and only the true butt encounters are going to get upset by this. There is a big difference, in the turret design. In the turret design alone of the 75 millimeter and the 105 millimeter turrets. 3D Breed, they use the same turret for both. I'll let them get away with that. But as you can see, with the 105 millimeter turret, they did give it more girth, but they also didn't give the barrel enough length. So some of the butt encounters are probably going to mention that. It really doesn't matter, because I just think it's nice to finally get a 105 millimeter turret from 3D Breed. But I digress. Now, that's not the only cool stuff that they did, and future proofing that they did with the new models. We're going to get the 15 millimeters out of the way, and we're going to bring back both of the 28 millimeter tanks. Because here's a plate full of goodies. What they are doing with this Kickstarter, they're also creating, okay, that broke off. They're also creating tank accessories that you can 3D print and glue onto the side of your tank to decorate them. It'll work on both tanks, yada yada yada. But, and we're going to go over what they give. They give 2 different types of these pipes that go onto the side. I printed out 2 copies of each thing, so that's why you're seeing 4. They made this that goes on the front of the tank. It's got a spare idler wheel and a few gas cans. Printed out 2 of those. They also, and these are all works in progress. They also, I gotta clean up the supports a little bit more on this. Hold on. I didn't think I was gonna need the white backdrop, but yeah, turns out I'm going to. Okay, never mind. Maybe I should have brought the tweezers. Well, we're not getting close up on that. They also added, I'm missing one of these. These, like, rolled up, like, tarps and whatnot. 2 different types of them. This actually looks like a camo cloth, the camo cloth that they throw over the tanks when they're parked. 2 different types of gas cans. This one with a nice little mounting bracket. And then this one without. I gotta figure out how to turn off my auto zoom on this thing. And then just that nice little bag. The only thing that I think is missing that I think would be great is the Sherman tanks for D-Day had sandbags around them. I think that would be a nice little addition for 3D Breed to consider. Having ways to print those out to put onto both the older style Shermans and the newer ones. That's the only tank accessory I think is lacking. But that's all for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and these are some really lovely models. They print out very nicely. I don't know what else more I could say about it. 3D Breed knocked it out of the park with these models, and if you're not on the campaign already, jump on. They already moved on from D-Day to Market Garden, so they're doing American paratroopers, British Commonwealth troops, and also Fallschirmjägers. So German paratroopers are going to be unlocked with the Market Garden section, and then it moves on to Winter War. So this is going to be a real fun campaign. But that's it for this video, guys. If you like what you saw, give a nice big thumbs up. If you want to see more content in the future, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified anytime I put up a future video. Have a nice day, guys, and hopefully I'll see you on the Kickstarter campaign.